Good day, my YouTube friends. I wanted to give you a quick update. It has been sporadic on my uploads. I apologize for that. One, Wi-Fi is hard to come by, making uploading videos very difficult. That's why several of these other channels are months behind, which now I realize why. It's hard to find uploading availability for Wi-Fi. Second, it's hard to find time to edit, because if you're on the move, especially if you're doing some solo sailing, it's almost impossible to edit footage while you're underway. And when you're anchored, you're usually just there for an overnight to try to sleep, and then you get up again the next day and continue moving. So I've been here at Georgetown on the Great Exuma in the Bahamas. I pulled in here in mid-December, explored some of the islands nearby, and then I found this really awesome area called the Cavalli House on Stocking Island, which Stocking Island is kind of the hub for tons of cruisers every winter. There's literally 250 plus boats in the harbor that come down usually from the US, Canada, or around the world to spend their winters here. So a lot of these people will anchor for months at a time. I've been kind of in and out, and I've found this place called the Cavalli House, which is a mooring field. They call it Hurricane Hole 3 on Stocking Island. I left my boat for a few weeks to go back to California, got some boat parts, that sort of thing, and just took a quick break from the boat. Got back in, early February, and I went to an island nearby called Long Island. Spent about a week there. That was awesome. Now I'm back, and it's kind of a crossroads of my adventure, so I wanted to share that with you, even though it's out of sequence from my other vlogs. I've been trying to kind of keep a sequence of what's been going on all the way back from Virginia. But what's happening now is I have finally got a new crew member. It's actually a delivery captain that I hired named Dave. He's from Tasmania. This guy is awesome. He has been around boats his whole life. Interesting life story. You're going to get to know him more. But Dave is going to join me, and we are going to take a trip to south of Cuba, likely stopping in Santiago de Cuba, and then perhaps going to the Cayman Islands. And then we might go to Isla Mujeres near Cancun, Mexico. And it's at that point where we're going to have to decide what to do next. And that's kind of what I'm going through right now in my mind. Couple things I wanted to share with you. This trip has been eye-opening for me as a someone who isn't experienced, cruising sailor. I've spent all my time either in the bay in San Diego or the Chesapeake Bay near Annapolis. Protected waters, easy to go, from place to place, and then moving right into a larger boat and ocean sailing, where you have to consider weather windows. Sometimes you're delayed for weeks at a time. If you do go out and it's bad weather, or even on the cusp of not too pleasant weather, you're dealing with not pleasant conditions, so big waves. Holy shit! Crushing the waves and the whole thing, which I've experienced a few times, and it's not pleasant. So anyway, my point is, this trip has taught me a lot, and it's also taken a lot out of my bank account.
I'm broke as a joke.
So I'm getting to the point now where I'm having to make really serious and tough decisions about what I'm going to do with the trip. I've already concluded that I don't think I'm going to be able to go down to Panama through the canal and up the Pacific coast. A couple of reasons. One, the money. It's going to cost a lot to go through Panama. It's also going to cost a lot of fuel to go up north on the Pacific side. A lot of very experienced sailors, including Dave, have told me that they've taken boats from Panama up to California, and it is not a pleasant ride. You're going up against the wind, against the currents, big waves. You end up bashing your boat the whole way, and there's a lot of times a lot of wear and tear damage by the time that is finished. So that's going to cost a lot in the long run. I've eliminated that option. My second option then was to take the boat to Texas and then ship the boat on a truck to California. After investigating that more, the finances also don't add up. I mean, it's going to cost me about $10,000 to transport from Texas to California on a truck. Some of you who watched my initial video of buying this boat was less than $30,000. So spending a third of the boat price on just to haul the boat doesn't make economic sense, especially when I could go out to California and most likely buy a similar boat, you know, for a similar price that I'm able to sell this boat for. Now, I have put a lot of money and time into this boat, so that's tough to try to think about also. But anyway, my point is, I still haven't decided, and I wanted to give you this update of what's going on, but it's either going to be going to Houston area and hauling the boat by truck, or going over to Florida after going down around, kind of doing a fun cruise through Cayman Islands and Cuba. Then after that, going over to Florida and try to sell the boat there in a sailing community, and then get back to California and then buy a new boat, probably a smaller boat, to be honest, because in California, where I'll be in Newport Beach, I don't plan to do a lot of, you know, overnight trips or living on the boat. I plan to do more just fun day trips and things, which I would want a smaller boat just to get around the harbor there and do some little going out into the ocean, probably doing some fishing and stuff like that. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to have, you know, a floating RV when you're not actually going to use the RV portion of it like I have been. I've always thought, in my philosophy on boats, you know, has always been, there's no reason to have a boat just sitting at a dock that you're not going to use for the reason it's intended, right? So I bought this boat specifically for doing this trip that I'm on now, which is to sail into the Caribbean or to the Bahamas and enjoy that tropical sailing experience, which I feel I'm getting. But when I get to California, the boat's not going to have that same purpose. I'm not going to be using the galley or the beds as much, and I don't think there's a reason to have that there when I could get by with something smaller, more economical, that kind of thing. Anyway, but my point is, I wanted to give you an update. I wanted you to quickly meet Dave. You're going to meet him much more along the trip. Look for additional vlogs, but a few weeks out, because during the next probably 3 or 4 weeks, I won't be able to get any vlogs out. You know, I might be able to do a couple of quick updates along the way, but for the actual vlog editing, it's probably going to be a few weeks from now. So I know some people are, you know, it's funny because YouTube is a critical platform, right? A lot of people are, oh, you're not, you know, if you can't get videos out on a timely basis, I'm not going to subscribe, I'm not going to continue following you and all that. Fine, you know.
Another day making YouTube videos. I wonder how many subs I have today.
I didn't really, you know, get into this for the number of subscribers I would have, or I did it really to share my personal journey with you who are maybe interested in doing something similar, and to not only tell you the highlights, but also tell you some of the downsides. And what I'm learning is something I would have never have thought of, you know, a year ago. A lot of the places, like even on Long Island I went to a couple weeks ago, even to get fresh drinking water was a chore of like walking 2 miles to the market, or that sort of thing, let alone try to do, you know, uploading videos or whatever. But none of that has discouraged me from this whole kind of cruising adventure experience. I have loved every minute of it. So with that said, keep watching on my Garmin tracker. I'll link it below. You can watch the map tracking of that. I will also post more regular photos on Instagram that you can follow, because that's a platform I can do real-time sharing. But continue watching, and thank you for the support. Those of you who are on Patreon, thank you so much. I cannot begin to express my gratitude for the patrons. A lot of you who have given me referrals to marinas or passages I should take, contacts in the boating industry, truck haulers, boat haulers, things of that nature. So thank you so much for those of you on Patreon, and to all of you others, thank you for watching, and we'll continue this journey very soon. Thank you.